The apartment was quiet, way too quiet. The kind of quiet that didn't feel peaceful, but heavy. Heavy like the dirty dishes piled up in the sink, like the unwashed laundry on the chair in a corner, like the silence pressing down on her chest day after day. Vian sat curled upon the couch, her knees pulled up to her chest in a hugging manner, a bowl of popcorn placed beside her, the TV playing a random song on a low volume, just a noise to pretend someone else was there. The only light in the room came from her phone screen propped up against the empty mug. Her long distance best friend Natasha was already on the screen, lying sideways on her bed with her hair in a messy bun and glasses slipping down her nose. Natasha, you look like you haven't slept in 3 days, Natasha said bluntly, squinting at the screen. YN, I haven't really been keeping tracks. Natasha, YN, babe. Natasha sighed, sitting up now. Have you even stepped outside this week? YN rubbed at her temple, avoiding the question. YN, I am tired, Nat. Please don't start. Natasha, I am not starting. I am just asking. There was a beat of silence, then Natasha added gently. YN gave a dry laugh, bitter and short. YN, what's the point? It's been 5 years and nothing changes. They all say the same thing. Let go, move on. Like I can just erase him from my head. Natasha's voice softened. Natasha, I'm not asking you to erase anything. Just try not to carry it alone. YN looked away from the screen, the guilt, the grief, the weight of it, all still sitting heavy on her chest like it did the day she found out Jungkook had died. Her only family, her brother, her protector, gone. Just like that. And ever since everything felt him distance. Natasha's voice cut through the silence again. Natasha, did you eat today? YN, cereal. Natasha, and just cereal. Natasha blew out a breath, clearly trying not to lose patience. Natasha, YN, I love you, but this isn't okay. You are surviving, not living, and I know Jungkook would have hated seeing you like this. YN flinched. YN, don't. She whispered. Don't bring him into this. Natasha, why not? He is the reason you stopped living. YN stayed silent, her chest ached. Natasha, look, I'm not trying to be mean, but you are 25 and you haven't had a normal day in years. You don't leave the house, you don't answer most of the calls. You barely even talk to me anymore unless I pester you. I am scared for you. YN finally looked up again, her voice cracked when she spoke. YN, I don't know how to feel okay without him, Ned. He was the only person who got me. After our parents died, he was all I had. And now there's just silence. Natasha nodded slowly. Natasha, I know, and maybe it's always going to hurt, but maybe you don't have to stay stuck in that pain forever, okay? Try therapy again, try anything. YN didn't reply, she just stared down at her chipped nail polish. Suddenly, a sharp crash echoed from downstairs. Both girls jumped due to sudden noise. Natasha, what the hell was that? Natasha asked, eyes wide. YN looked around alarmed. I think something broke. It YN, no. Wind's been crazy tonight. Maybe something fell off. Natasha, oh, go and check it and then call me. If you want, I will call myself in 5 minutes, okay? YN sighed, shaking her head. YN, okay, okay, I will call you. Natasha hummed and ended the call as YN put the phone aside and went downstairs to check the source of noise. As Vayan stepped onto the first stair, thunder cracked loudly outside, shaking the windows for a brief moment. She wrapped her arms around herself, the sudden cold seeping in from the lower floor. The light upstairs flickered once but stayed on, dim and yellow, casting soft shadows across the walls. She reached the last step, her socks stamped against the wooden floor. The windows near the hallway were still open wide, the curtains flailing violently in the wind like they were trying to escape. Rain had poured inside and gathered in a small puddles across the floor, soaking the rug and leaving the edges of the furniture wet. She walked towards the window, muttering under her breath, seriously, I just cleaned this yesterday. As she moved to close the left window, her eyes dropped to the floor. She stopped mid step. There was something smeared across the puddles, not water, not mud, but something darker. She leaned forward slightly. The rainwater had streaks of red in it, a deep, disturbing red that smeared like thick ink. It wasn't just drops, it was a trail, footprints, barefoot, blood soaked, leading from the window down the hallway straight toward the studio room. Her throat tightened as she blinked, and then she screamed. A loud, sharp, panic sound that ripped out of her without warning. Before she could scream again or even turn to run, an arm wrapped tightly around her waist from behind, pulling her backward with such force she nearly fell. A rough hand clamped down over her mouth. Her eyes widened as she thrashed in his grip. Her heels scraped against the floor, but the hold on her was too strong, like steel. Her heart was slamming in her chest, and all she could hear was her own pulse and the stranger's quicker breathing behind her ear. Keep your voice down. The man hissed, his voice low but sharp. His breath was hot against her ear, the words landing heavy in her chest. Vian's body trembled in his arm, every muscle locked in panic. She tried to turn her head to see who he was, but his hold didn't loosen. Then slowly he let go. The second his hand left her mouth, she screamed again. But she barely got the scream out before the hand returned, slamming over her mouth mid cry. This time the grip was tighter. His other hand moved fast, pulling something out from under his hoodie, a sleek black pistol. He pressed the gun hard against her temple. I don't want to spill blood tonight, he said, his voice. She froze completely. Her body locked up in his arm. Her breathing came in fast, shallow gasps. Sweat gathered at the back of her neck despite the cold. Her eyes stayed fixed on the world across from her, wide and terrified. The hand stayed clamped over her mouth for a few more seconds, long enough for her to feel the weight of the metal against her skin. Long enough for her to understand that this wasn't some nightmare, this was real. Only when she stopped struggling did he loosen his grip again, not fully, just enough to ease the pressure of her face. His hand hovered near his waist, still holding the gun. He moved slightly, stepping into the light with more caution this time. Blood had stained the side of his shirt. She could see it clearly now, even through the fabric. His face was still hidden behind a black mask, only his eyes visible, but even they looked different now, less aggressive, more focused. She didn't speak, couldn't. She just stood there, breathing hard, unable to take her eyes off the gun still in his hand. The man stared at her for a long second. His gaze froze, his entire posture changed, his grip around the gun lowered slightly. He leaned forward just a little, like he needed to see her face again just to be sure. Vian. The man said again, voice quieter this time, like the word was slipping from his mouth before he could stop it. Vian's eyes widened. She didn't respond at first. Couldn't. Her brain felt frozen. Her body still trembled from the adrenaline. And now her name coming from a masked stranger's mouth sent her spiraling deeper into the fear. She took a shaky step back. Vian, what? Her voice cracked. How do you know my name? He didn't move and didn't speak again. His head tilted slightly, just enough to see her better in the light. Her chest rose and fell rapidly, her breath quick and uneven. Her gaze darted from his eyes to the gun still loosely held in his hand. She didn't understand. None of this made sense. Vian, who are you? She asked louder this time. Her voice was panicked, unsure if she should run or scream again. How do you know me? There was a pause, and then slowly, deliberately, the man reached up, his gloved fingers gripped the edge of the mask, and without saying a word, he pulled it off. The fabric dropped to the floor and the world around her stopped. She stared. Time didn't just freeze, it shattered. Cracked like glass across her mind. That face, those eyes, the scar beneath his lip, the way his jaw clenched, the way his brows pinched in guilt. Her lips parted, but the sound wouldn't come out. No, she whispered. No, this isn't real. She blinked hard as if trying to make him disappear. Her breathing grew faster, more shallow. Vian, you are dead, she said, backing up further until her back hit the wall. You died 5 years ago. You died. Jungkook stood still, the weight of her words hitting harder than any gun ever could. He didn't try to interrupt her, he just was silently, painfully. Vian grabbed at her own hair, fingers clawing into her scalp as she slid down on the floor, shaking. Vian, this isn't real, she muttered again, her voice rising. This is my mind playing tricks on me. You are not real. You are not real. She was rocking now back and forth, arms wrapped tightly around her knees as if trying to hold herself together. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but they weren't from joy. They were the kind that came from being ripped open. I'm broken, she choked. I'm so broken I'm hallucinating my dead brother. Jungkook's jaw clenched. He took a slow step towards her. Vian. Don't, she snapped, lifting her head. Eyes full of anger now. Don't say my name. Don't come closer. You are not him. You can't be. She pushed herself up from the floor, legs trembling, breath sharp. Vian, if this is some kind of sick game, I swear I will. I will. Her words fell apart mid threat, her voice cracking through sobs. I lost you. I loved you. I mourned you. I gave up everything after you left. Jungkook's voice was thick when he finally spoke again. I know. No, you don't know, she screamed. You don't know what it felt like. You don't know what you did to me. She turned, stumbling towards the hallway. Ryan, I need to get out. I need air. I need to wake up. He stepped forward quickly and grabbed her wrist, not rough but enough to stop her from fleeing. Ryan, please, let me go. I never died. Her world stopped again. He said it so plainly, so directly. The sentence echoed in her head, long after the words left his mouth. She turned to face him, eyes wide, mouth parted, breath still uneven. He let her go. I never died. He repeated softer this time. It was all an act. I'm alive. Ryan's legs felt like they were made of stone. She didn't move, couldn't. Her mind was spinning and her breath was unsteady, but his words echoed again and again inside her head. I never died. She blinked slowly, eyes still locked on his face. Her voice came out in whisper. What? You are really him? Jungkook stood in front of her, soaked in rain, blood drying on his shirt, a gun still tucked at his side, and yet all she could see was the boy who used to walk her to school, ruffle her hair, sneak her candy after dinner. Her older brother, her protector, the person she had loved more than anyone. Ryan, are you really him? She repeated, voice breaking. My Jungkook, my Oppa. The one who always looked out for me, the one who told me everything would be okay. Is it really you? His eyes softened at the desperation in her voice. Without thinking, he stepped forward, reaching out to gently take her hand in his. Jungkook, yes, he said quietly, voice rough with emotion. That was all it took. Ryan let out a broken sob and collapsed into his chest, wrapping her arms around him like she was afraid he would disappear again if she let go. Her cries were loud, guttural, the kind that come from years of grief and loneliness. Jungkook dropped everything and held her tight, his arms wrapped protectively around her. He pressed his cheeks to her ear, his eyes falling shut. Ryan, I miss you, she sobbed. I miss you so much. You don't know what it did to me. Jungkook, I'm sorry, he whispered, voice shaking. I'm so sorry, baby. I never wanted to leave you. Never. They stood there in the middle of the hallway, just holding each other. After what felt like forever, Ryan slowly pulled back, wiping her tear-streaked cheeks with the sleeve over Udi. Ryan, come, tell me everything. Jungkook nodded, following her to the couch, the same couch she had cried herself to sleep on countless nights, and how he was sitting beside her like no time had passed. She turned to face him, her eyes still glassy. Ryan, start from the beginning. All of it, no lies. He looked down at his hand, blood crusted on his knuckles. Then he started. Jungkook, our parents didn't die in an accident. They were murdered. Ryan's breath caught in her throat. What? Our uncle killed them. He said he made it look like a car accident, but it wasn't. He was drowning in debt. His own business was crumbling and he was addicted to gambling. He wanted dad's business to cover all of his debt. He wanted the company money and everything. Jungkook paused, then looked up at her. And after he took over our father's business, he ran it straight into the ground. He couldn't manage anything, but instead of fixing it, he got worse, angrier, and more desperate. Ryan stayed silent, her fists clenched in her lap. He thought that you were useless, Jungkook said softly, the words burning in his throat. Jungkook, he said you were young, too emotional, too soft, and you will never be able to help him, and told me that we didn't need you. Her eyes widened. Jungkook saw the pain flicker through them, pain that mirrored his own. So he made a deal. He planned to sell you to some disgusting bastards who were willing to pay him to take you. Ryan covered her mouth, a choked noise slipping out. Her shoulders were trembling again. Jungkook, when I found out, I confronted him. We argued. He kept saying we had to survive and that I would be fine without you, that I could make him some money, but I couldn't let him touch you. Not after everything. He stared ahead now, as if seeing that night all over again. Jungkook, I lost it. I lost my temper. We fought. He threw the first punch. I hit back. I told him if he ever laid a finger on you, I would kill him. And I did. There was silence, thick and sharp. I didn't mean to kill him. I didn't plan it. But in that moment, my anger snapped. Ryan didn't move. Her expression was unreadable, but her eyes, they were full of heartbreak. Our aunt saw everything. She wasn't innocent. She knew about his plan of selling you, but she never stopped him. But when I killed him, she panicked and called the cops on me. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. I ran. I didn't know what to do. I stayed hidden for a few days anywhere I could find place, then came back. But by then it was too late. Word had spread. The people our uncle owed money to, they came after me, wanted revenge or payment or blood. Jungkook let out a bitter laugh. I was just a kid with a body count and a death sentence. No place to go. I begged a small gang for help, told them everything. They gave me a place to hide, but in exchange, they made me do things. Dirty things. Whatever job they had, I did it all. He paused to catch his breath. His voice quieter now. Jungkook, for a few days it was good. Cops were not able to find him, but eventually the cops started getting close, too close. The gang knew I was good at what I did, and they didn't want to lose me. So they made a plan. They found a body, someone already died, burned it inside a stolen car, left just enough to make it believable. Ryan's eyes filled again. They made it look like it was me. I was declared dead. You mourned me. He swallowed her, so I did jobs from them to protect myself. If I refused, they would tell the cops and get me arrested. I moved from gang to gang, kept my head down, kept climbing up. Eventually, a mafia boss took notice. He saw what I could do. He trained me, took me in, and gave me a seat. And now, Ryan whispered, now I am him, the king. I run most of the underworld. I own companies, properties, every illegal business that makes money. I am somewhere in the middle of it. I built an empire. I became too powerful to lose now. She stared at him stunned. Jungkook, but tonight I got caught accidentally. But I escaped and I just needed a place to hide for one night. I didn't even know this was your house. I swear, Ryan, I never knew you were here. She blinked slowly, her voice barely a whisper. And now you are here, in my home. Jungkook looked at her, eyes tired yet full of something she hadn't seen in anyone in a long time. Yeah, and I'm not leaving without taking you. The room felt heavier now, like the weight of everything they had put kept hidden was finally starting to settle in the space between them. Ryan sat on the edge of the couch, her hands curled tightly in her lap. She hadn't said a word since Jungkook finished his story. Her breathing was quiet but uneven. Her lips trembled as she stared at the floor, lost in something far deeper than silence. Jungkook waited. He didn't rush her. He just sat there beside her, watching the pain return to her face, the kind that clearly had been living there for years. She finally spoke. You want to know what happened after you died? Her voice was calm, too calm, the kind of calm that only came before our storms. Jungkook looked at her, but didn't interrupt. I stayed with our aunt, not because I wanted to, because I had no choice. I was 20, alone, lost. I didn't have anywhere else to go, and she knew that. Ryan swallowed hard, her eyes starting to fall again. This time the tears didn't fall with grief, they burned with betrayal. She wasn't just cold, she wasn't just neglectful, she was cruel. She would scream at me when I cried, tell me I was weak, that I was worthless, that she never wanted me around. Jungkook's fist clenched, jaw tightening. Why? And she once locked me outside in winter for an hour because I accidentally broke her dish. She said if I couldn't handle her house, I didn't deserve to live it in. Jungkook shut his eyes, the guilt crashing over him like a wave. I cried myself to sleep almost every night. She continued, her voice cracking now. I begged the universe to bring you back. She turned to face him now, eyes filled with heartbreak and hate. I understand that you did what you had to do. I understand that you were trying to survive, but you could have found a way to tell me just a message. One letter, one sign, I would have lived off that for years. Her voice trembled as she looked at him. Instead, I mourned you. I lit candles. I wore black. I kept your things. I broke in places. Jungkook looked like he had been gutted. He turned away, his hand trembling in his lap. Jungkook, I'm sorry, he whispered, voice thick. I'm sorry, Ryan. I know sorry will never be enough. I was scared. I thought if I reached out, it would put you in danger. I thought disappearing was the safest thing I could do for you. Ryan stared at him for a moment, her heart softening even through the hurt. Ryan, I know you mean to protect me, but you didn't just vanish from my life, Jungkook. You left me in hell. The silence that followed was heavy, but it wasn't empty. Jungkook reached forward slowly, hesitantly, and Ryan at him. She leaned into his touch as he gently took her hand. They sat there for a moment, just holding each other's gaze. Just breathing the same air for the first time in years, then she noticed the dark stain spreading across his side. Her eyes widened. Jungkook, you are bleeding. He looked down almost like he had forgotten. It's nothing, just a graze. Don't be dramatic. She snapped, already getting to her feet. She she ran to the bathroom, grabbing the first aid kit she hadn't used in months. When she came back, Jungkook had stripped off his hoodie, revealing the torn, bloody shirt underneath. The wound on his side was deep enough to worry her, but not fatal. She dropped to her knees beside him and started cleaning the cut. Her hands moved quickly but carefully. He winced once but didn't make a sound. Why, and you always did have a high pain tolerance, she muttered, dabbing antiseptic onto the clothes. He smirked faintly. And you always liked bossing me around. I learned from the best. She replied quietly. When she was done, she bandaged the wound tightly and helped him pull on a clean black shirt he had stretched in his bed. He didn't say anything, just looked at her, and then, without a word, he pulled her into his arms again. This time there was no panic, no chaos, just warmth, just home. Ryan pressed her face into his chest, inhaling the scent of rain, blood, and familiarity. For the first time in 5 years, she didn't feel entirely broken. But suddenly the noises interrupted them. Sound of cops car, a lot of siren, faint at first but getting louder with every second passing by. Jungkook's entire body went rigid. Ryan pulled back, eyes wide. Multiple vehicles pulled up outside. The red and blue flashes lit up the contain like lightning. Tires screeched, doors slammed. Then a knock. Hard, urgent, and repeated. He stood already pulling up on his hoodie, grabbing the gun from the floor. It could be nothing, he said, his voice quiet, or it could be everything. Ryan's heart pounded in her chest. Ryan, they might just be checking in, asking if anyone suspicious came through the neighborhood, and if it's not that. He nodded once, understanding. I need somewhere to hide. Ryan's mind raced. She grabbed his arm, dragging him down the hall. Come with me. She led him into her bedroom and pointed to the far left corner. She moved the bed aside with all her strength she had, revealing a loose wooden panel on the floor. There's a crawl space under here, she said, voice shaking. It's narrow, but it will hide you. You will be safe, I promise. Jungkook looked at her, really looked, and for the first time she saw fear in his eyes, not for himself, but for her. If anything happens, just go, she whispered. Pushing the panel open, he crawled down, and she pulled the bed back into place. Panic rising in her throat, she hurried to the front door and opened it, but her dropped into her stomach. Why, Natasha, you here? She muttered, her voice barely above a whisper, as she couldn't grasp the situation fully. Her best friend stood in front of her in police uniform, along with her team, with a determination on her face, like she had always wanted to do this. Miss Jeon, you are under arrest for obstruction of justice and harboring a fugitive. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you in a court of law. To be continued.